Oh, thank you for watching News Echoes. I believe that everyone is hearing me. Let me have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm so glad to be back. My name is Shegun Johnson, and I'm glad everyone is hearing me. I'm trying to have technical adjustments here in London, and I know that we have our man in Toronto, Sir George. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Shegun, Mike Godwin, and good morning, viewers from around the world. It is good to have you here this morning. Stay tuned for the news coming.
Yes, and a very big one coming. We have from the commercial city of Nigeria, Lagos, Bidi Nana. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shegu. Thanks for having you back again here. Viewers all around the world, good morning. Thanks for having us again here today. Let's do it like always.
And the massive Mark in Milan. Mark, you're welcome to the program.
Listen, I'm the most excited person here, Dr. Shegun. Seeing you on cue, seeing you on the frame. It's wonderful. And you look good. Nigeria has been good to you.
Well, Nigeria, honestly, is the best country in the whole world. And I'm proud to say that anytime, anywhere. There's no place like Nigeria. Governance in Nigeria, we may choose to discuss that one. But about the quality of Nigeria itself, there is no other place like it. So let's move on from there. Unfortunately, it's a somber mood we're starting today. We lost one of our own, Pastor Taiwo Odukoya, the pastor of a large church in Lagos, and he's been working. He's known for so many things. Among it is, apart from the church work, he's known for Ruth and Boaz ministry, where men and women come together and they find love and they get married. And he's known all over the world. He has preached. Unfortunately, we were told late on the 7th of August, he gave up the ghost after fighting cancer for a few months. And the story goes on. The sister, the twin sister, also died of cancer. His wife of 10 years, originally from South Africa, also died of cancer. And of course, his first love, Bimbo Odukoya, died in a plane accident, Port Harcourt. And here we are again. We can only wish the family and the church a lot of condolences. But we have someone who has worked closely with Bimbo Odukoya here on this panel. So let me invite Mark. Mark, tell us more.
Oh, Dr. Shegun. Well, I know her. I knew her many years ago. That's the first wife of this pastor, Bimbo. She used to have this beautiful youth program back in the days. It's an event that addresses youth, relationship, couples, and all that. And it gathered a lot of young people at that time in Nigeria, Lagos, one part of Lagos called Ilupeju. So that was when I had some contact with her, and it made me want to know more as I realized she was the wife to this pastor, and this man was the founder, the general overseer of the church. So I took interest in the church and the family. Sadly, she passed on. At that time, I was in a program, I was in an event in Germany. She passed on. They had a plane crash. Now the man, after many years, people persuaded him. He had too much affection and he was so close. They had a strong bond, him and the wife, the late wife, the first wife. So he found it very hard to marry again. But after persuasion from friends, church members, and colleagues, he took another wife. Like you said, from I think she's somewhere from Southern Africa, a part there.
She's from South Africa.
South Africa, yeah. So that was it. But we didn't know some of these things that we're hearing now. He had ailment, and sadly also he lost the second wife. He also lost his twin sister, and yesterday, the church brought out the statement that he passed on. So we want to send our condolence from this part of the world. It's not nice to hear young people die like this. I mean, even if he's 68, he's still a young man. So passing on at this point in time, but we know God knows best. So that is it, Dr. Shagun. That
Okay,
is it.
Sir George, I know you're a man of the cloth. What's your reaction to this news?
Well, it's such a sad news to have this man of God to end this way. I don't think it's the best way to go, especially with all the all the history of what's happened in the past. So we extend our condolences to him. His first wife died in a plane crash. Second wife dying of cancer, twin sister or whatever dying, and just it just seems like that's not the story, the type of story that follows a man of cloth, the cloth, a man of God. Because when you're looking for, people are looking at you, to be the one to lead them in certain things, and such stories are following you. It doesn't look very good. But anyway, I extend my condolences, my sincere condolences to the family, and hope that the Lord will just continue to strengthen, guide them, and lead them and direct them in the way and comfort them anyway. So, it's such
Yes.
a sad news.
Thank you, Sir George. Certainly, we don't want him to. No one would have wanted him to go like this. BD, what's the mood in Lagos? I'm sure Lagos will not be finding it funny.
Honestly, they are not finding it funny. The mood is not friendly. People are not happy because of the news of Pastor Dukoya's passing onto the glory. Now, there's another twist to what we've been hearing, what people are saying. And some people say they said it's cancer, but they say that Odukoya's problem actually started when Bimbo died. The way people, the comments, the way people were talking, that the thing actually got to him. And since then, he has not been himself. That even him getting married to his South African wife was the church elders that actually persuaded him to get somebody, because he became so devastated, so lonely, and so bitter. Coupled with Nigerians, Nigerians who can be so mean when it comes to making comments online. I'm telling you. So I feel for the family. I feel for fountain of God's ministry. I can imagine what they are going through now. I pray that God grant them the fortitude to bear this great loss. It's not going to be easy. It has not been easy. And let God accept him according to our belief in heaven. So that's actually what is happening. But Lagosians
I
are not
think
happy about the passing on of Pastor Dukoya. They're not happy about that. They're feeling it seriously. People are bitter. They were not expecting. They were like, why this family? Why is it always happening to them? It
mhm,
was Bimbo, it was the sister, it was the second wife. Now it's him.
mhm,
Wow,
mhm.
and being a pastor, people will always talk, as if pastors are not
Yeah,
human beings. Do you understand? People will
that's
always
correct.
talk. Nigerians, you will
Thank you.
understand them, their reasoning and their mindsets.
Mhm. Thank you very much, BD. Yes, thank you very much. I think little glitch, technical from Dr. Shagun's phone, Dr. Shagun's gadget. So I'm taking it from there. I hope you can hear me, all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can
Good.
hear you.
Okay, so we'll
Yes.
go on with the stories. Um, a lot has been happening in the sport line this past week. We had the Tigress win the fourth consecutive of Afro Basketball Championship, and it's a joy to see Nigerians pull it through in this international scene. So the Tigress defeated Senegal to win the 2023 FIBA Women Afrobasket Championship. Um, one spectacular thing about that whole outing was the coach.
Add him
Our
up. Add him up.
uh, uh, sorry,
Add him up.
No, don't worry, don't worry. Just follow. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay. Everything is going well. So the Tigress had that coach, a lady that used to play also for the Tigress before. Now she became the coach. Rena Wakama. Yes, she's from River State, Port Harcourt, and she was able to take the ladies through to defeat the Senegalese. And this victory means a lot for us, for Nigerians, for women in sports, women in Africa, sport women in Africa. And take note that this also sends them to the 2024 Olympics Championship. So, gentlemen, let me begin with welcoming Dr. Godwin. Dr. Godwin, you're welcome to today's Wednesday News Echo Global Africa. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in, and thank you, my fellow panelists, for joining me.
Welcome, Dr. Godwin.
Nice. Okay, so you go on with the story, then Dr. Shagun joins us. Dr. Shagun, you're welcome. Welcome back again.
Yes, it's been a challenge, and it's good to see Dr. Godwin, who has been standing.
Good to see you too, Dr. Shagun.
Wonderful time, I understand. Yes, let's just take on that story. Who has something big on it?
Yes.
Biddy, is you. The women won again.
The women won it.
The women always winning, and you know that this is the first time they are winning this basketball. They're always winning. Look at what the women did for us in the just where they left World Cup, Women World Cup. They are doing well. Our women are doing well, but it's so unfortunately that we under celebrate them. Do you understand? They are doing well. They've done it. This is not the first time. They've done it before. They've done it. This is the fourth time. I'm really impressed and proud of our women. And I hope
but I understand the Senegalese have won
well
it 11 times.
and well rated.
I have something to add.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but at least we've won it 4 times.
The women are doing fantastically
And we've
well.
won it 4 times.
Yeah, can I say, okay. Yeah. They've done fantastically well in same countries where there's support for sports. The argument there is women should have equal pay in sports than men, because there's already the well-established fact that successful men athletes or sportsmen earn well. In Nigeria, we cannot actually say that is the case, because the women have nothing to fight for. They cannot say their male counterparts are gaining too much, and they are not. Now, concerning that doesn't mean that I support the fact that everyone should earn equally. I actually don't. I believe that I go with what BD said, that we should support the sports, because the sports have to be profitable. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You have to make sure that there's an audience for the game. We understand that the women are trying, the sportswomen are trying, because they don't actually always have the crowd, like in men's sports, the crowd, the fans, the fan club for men's sports are like, really cult-like, let me put it this way. And then if you ask a lot of female to name their female teams in their region, they don't even know the name of the female teams. So we encourage, the building in sports has to be encouraging women to play, appreciating them, promoting them, so that there's an audience and it generates revenue so that they can be paid. Because from what I heard, for example, some of the women sports tournaments actually run at a loss when you calculate both the expenses and the profits generated from that. So it has to be, you can't take the money from somewhere. You have to kind of encourage the whole sport, so that there's a lot of patronization and revenue generation. I think that would be and also the sports development, which the Ministry of Sports is responsible for. So these are the way we can actually promote wholesome.
That's a nice twist to it. Let me ask Sir George, don't you think that was male chauvinism They derided, and I'm talking of a long history, they derided the women participation in sports until very recently. And it was during the Second World War, when there were no men to play balls, especially in the United States, that they now started giving them a chance. They can play all of the football, what they call football in America, and all of that. And people started watching because there was nothing else to watch. Was it not male chauvinism that has to be taken away?
Well, I don't think I just it's just a sign of the times. I mean, there are so many things that are happening now that you cannot even, fathom on how that could have been happening like 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So it is the sign of the time. Today a woman can become a president or a prime minister. In those days, it was not that way. So we are evolving. And when it comes to women's sports, like Dr. Godwin says, it's a number game. The more people that are watching, the more companies would like to sponsor, and the more those participating will pay money if they have to go and watch the game, and then it will help, to increase the popularity of these games. So, like what he said, is very, very important. What we need to do locally in our own is that the government can actually help a lot by sponsoring some of these games and making sure that locally that they have what they need, to train, and then also to so companies like some of these big goons, some of these big companies in Nigeria can actually support, at the very beginning, so that the game can go, popular, and then money can come out to pay them. You can't just say right now when it comes to soccer, oh, let us pay women the way the clinicals are being paid. It doesn't work that way because it's a number game. So, like what he said, many of them are even losing money at the end of the day. So, what we need to do is to back them up, support them, promote them, and things will be okay.
Massive Mark, to what extent has the Nigerian government been supporting these individuals?
Dr. Shegu, can I answer you? Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Hold on.
I want to say something to your question.
Yeah.
Can I say something? What the question you asked?
Yes, let's take it one by one. The viewers are listening because that's a very poignant question, Dr. Shegu. The situation now is, funny enough, the reverse is the case. Do you know that the football organizing body, the World Cup organizing body, and the organizing body of these sports are paying these women directly to their accounts? Can you beat this, Dr. Shogun?
Yes, we were coming to that, but go on and say it, discuss it. Yeah.
Okay, let me keep it on hold for you. So anyway, the federal government is not doing much. If we're hearing that these organizations are paying to the ladies' account directly, that means there's something wrong somewhere.
An indictment.
Yes, an indictment. It's regrettable that we are saying this. It's very, very sad. So, Dr.
Some of these players, we were told they practice with their own money. They travel with their own money. Is this true?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, Dr. Shogun, we saw this at the last Olympics. I mean, where we saw some of our Nigerian athletes coming to represent our country, Nigeria, and having to do it with their own money. Even the little thing that the government could do, this Ministry of Sport, they couldn't do it. We saw some athletes washing just one jersey that they were given, and they had to wash up to the night, spread and make it dry to use the next day. So our sports administration, our sports arrangement is still zero. A lot has to be done. Dr. Godwin put it right. The federal government needs to really sit up in all of this, because we have the people, we have the athletes, we have the young people that are ready to put out their energy and get results for the country in these international activities, sports. But zero support from the government. Zero.
Thank you. Bidi, yes, your point.
Yeah. You asked a question. Yes, it's actually men chauvinism. If you look at our society, is a chauvinistic society. And no matter how civil we want to be, our culture has a way of showing in what we do. The truth is this: the way they promote the male soccer is not half close to how they promote the female soccer. So in return, they don't get the sponsors or the benefits they're supposed to. Do you understand? Now let me tell you, do you know, as when this football this it was going on, I made some survey. A lot of Nigerians don't even know that World Cup is going on. But if it's to be a male World Cup, the whole world, even a child in the womb will know. So it goes down to we as people, our society, what we believe in, and our culture have a way of rubbing off on this. And if we change, do you understand, in the way we see it and treat it, I think the female soccer will start making money because they're actually doing well. But because we don't pay attention to it, to us, it's not a thing that we should be giving all our time, all our attention, because it's women. It has everything to do with it. To your question, yes, is a chauvinism thing.
Yeah, okay.
I I disagree. I
100%
absolutely disagree.
agreement.
Sir George,
Absolutely.
Sir George, then Dr. Ibe.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. You cannot say that because, like I said, if you listen to Dr. Iba and if you listen to me, you see the statistical analysis of the whole entire thing. It's not male chauvinism. It has nothing to do with it. It is the
Absolutely.
sign of the times. The women are coming up right now. They're like, well, you indicted yourself by saying, oh, you did a survey and most people didn't even know. Who is supposed to make you know? Isn't it you and the
It
others?
was
So,
not
no, hold tight. Let me
promoted
finish. Hold
because
on. Let me finish.
it was not well
Let me
publicized,
finish. Let
unlike the
me
male
finish.
soccer.
Hold tight. Hold tight. What I'm saying is this: the person who is supposed to make it popular is because when it becomes popular, like it is right now, 2 years ago it was not this way. 5 years ago it wasn't this way. But things are evolving. It is the sign of the times. Has nothing to do with male chauvinism. It has nothing to do with men being superior over women. Look at it around the world. In the United States, basketball, women are paid less, and we go around the world. That's how it is. But the more popular it becomes, then companies will sponsor. People will go to the games, and money will be there to take care of them. Has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with male chauvinism. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
Dr. Ibe,
Let
quickly.
let me add that mentality and mindset is actually what will set women back. That mentality immediately, because you stop focusing on the real problem and go start being distracted with things that are not the problem. There's something called brand. I give an example. Coca-Cola can decide to charge $50 for something. Another person who is just starting will be producing exactly the same thing, but cannot charge. If you charge 20, nobody will buy.
It's true.
Nobody will buy. If you like, you can spend 200 million on women's sports. The reaction to men's sport will be more. It's a brand. It's a core. It's a fan base. It's not something you just say you spend money, you throw money at. You build it. If you show someone Coca-Cola, you show someone abracadabra. Just for the fact that it's cola, he will pick it. So this thing actually is what will distract women from achieving what they need to do by focusing on things that are not and blaming things that are not. The fact is that, yes, women need to develop. But the fact is that also women are not so interested in sports. There are things that women are interested in, and it's not one of them is not really sports. I mean, like the way men are interested in it. Right now, chess tournament is going on. Chess World Cup is also going on. I follow it as well. I see lots of fantastic women there playing. No, Nigerian there is not yet there, but look at India. India have 5 people already in quarterfinal. 5. What are you?
Okay,
You have to develop it.
Okay, I think on the side of BD is that the institutions are not there to support women to the extent to which they support the men. The companies are not there to the extent to which they
Exactly the
support
points
the
I'm
men.
making.
It's the institutional support that is lacking over the years. When women were not allowed to vote in England until 1920 something, women were always taken to be in the kitchen or living room. So these are the issues that now affect their
Sponsorship.
opportunities.
But
Isn't it?
sponsorship is a business decision. It's not a moral or ethical decision.
No.
I don't. If I'm a business, for
I
example,
agree with that. But when you have relegated them to the kitchen for a long time and you suddenly expected sponsorship to come, it won't come. So it's
exactly. And that's what we are saying. The same thing.
That's what
Exactly.
I said.
It's not what I said. That's our culture. That's exactly what I I said that our culture has a way of rubbing off on it. Exactly. Isn't that what I said?
Okay,
Yes, we are
It's
getting
a
out. We are
societal thing.
getting that,
That's
but it's
exactly the
not
point
men
I made.
preventing
but
it
Sir
now.
George has said that
Yeah.
the new times is
No,
that the
I didn't
women
say
are
the men
coming
are
out.
preventing them. I
Yeah.
said the society is not paying attention to it. I didn't say
Yes,
men are
yes, yes.
preventing them. I never
It
said
will be a
that. I
combination
said the
of all. But
society,
Sir George
the
said the
culture.
times are changing. So let's just stand on that. The times are changing, and it's changing when
Mm.
you look at this at the World Cup, the football FIFA World Cup, so many things came out. Of course, Super Falcons are out, and the Canada. I think Sir George has something to explain to us. Canada presented transgender against us. They could not even win us. We don't know whether it's a male, female that we were playing with. But in any case, they were playing 0-0. Super Falcons went out with their heads high. And I was watching when they were walking out of the hotels. The Australians were loving them. But more importantly, within the next few minutes before we go on a short break, is that this British girl, Laurel James, stepped on our girls' uh, buttocks, Michelle Alozie, and it was a bad one. Who has seen that? Who has seen Massive Mark? Let me start with you. I don't like the way he stepped, and you know Nigerians they make joke of it. They say if this na lekinyash, the thing for don't break pata pata. But look at that picture. Look at if this is an artificial bomb. I'm telling you, the thing will have broken up. But what do you say, Massive Mark?
Yes, Dr. Shagun, Laurie James, a forward for the English team. Even though she's expressing her regret for what she did, she got a red card. But after looking at the VAR review, they noticed she intentionally stepped on Michelle
Yes,
Aloz's.
intentionally. That's the word.
Yes, and that was hot. That could be very hot in there. That could really, because the football boots, take note, has spikes under.
Right.
So when you do that, mostly to a woman's behind, you could be matching on her body, her flesh hard. So anyway, she's on a ban now, but they've not specified the length of ban. They are supposed to meet Colombia. We don't know if she will be in that game.
No, she's
She's
not
been
going to be in the
suspended.
Colombian game, but
Aha, she's not going to
she needs a three-match ban. A
be.
three-match ban.
Yes.
Bidi, tell us, how does a woman feel when she's stepped on like that?
Now.
Yes, she's
Nah,
telling
nah,
you I'm
nah,
hearing
No,
because
I
her.
don't
when you
understand
said
the question.
Have
Have you experienced it?
you
she feels
experienced
like
being stepped on like that?
Okay, sorry, it is not the right
God.
question.
No,
It's the
no,
right
Let me
question.
answer it.
no. We are
Okay.
thankful, though. We are thankful that there were no procedures on this one because
You see?
it would have been a very disastrous thing. And the young lady that was stepped on, if you look at her, see how gracious she was, like when she was just smiling and raising her hand,
Yeah.
what is going on. But I'll tell you one thing, though. Let me tell you this. One thing I'm excited about is the mood of our team members. They were
Yeah,
just
that's
so
correct.
fantastic. I mean, when they win the game, they're dancing. As a matter of fact, they're the most popular team so
Yeah.
far when it comes to
Super
that,
Falcons, yeah.
because their gracious move and countenance and the way they just love this thing. I'm looking forward to seeing them again because
No,
of
no,
Me
but
too.
that's a beautiful thing to say, Dr. Sir George, and take note that that's why I think these world sports bodies are really thinking how to make sure Nigeria scales through to most of this tournament because we bring a different spice of
different kind of
liveliness,
I mean,
of
England could not
freshness
defeat us on a
into
game 1-1. They couldn't.
yes,
Dr. Obe, quickly, what
yes,
have you to say? Should we be just pressing people's rear
bum bum.
and what?
Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how it feels as a
You are a
woman, but I would
doctor.
know
You
how it
should
feels
tell
as a
us. You are
human.
a
As a
doctor.
human, and I can say emphatically so that it hurts, and the spikes would really hurt, and probably leave marks that would be signs of physical abuse or traumatic, and I believe the women have done fantastically well. They need to be encouraged, supported. they already role models to a lot of females. For example,
Yes.
when we did our cultural day,
The
one of
enthusiasm
the
was amazing.
yes, when we did our cultural day, one of the cooks who prepared the food, she was referred to as the Hilda of our time. So I was like, wow, so the name is already sticking. So this kind of successes leave imprints on people and even the newer generation.
Well, we have to go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at should Nigeria go to war in Niger over the coup there. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in South Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better. The Inside Story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story Magazine. Get Schengen Story Magazine full editions.
Thank you for watching News Echoes on Nigerian and African issues. My name is Shegun Johnson. We all know that a coup has now successfully taken place in Niger, and the old president, President Muhammad Bazoum, has been asked to sign a resignation letter, which he did, and has been released, deposited into his old house, and to be watched from there. And this has raised a lot of cataclysm within the Economic Community of West African States, otherwise known as ECOWAS. And now the debacle was just starting when the chairman of ECOWAS said they're moving in with a security outfit to get out the new junta, as they were called. But situations have increased from there. The Niger Republic, the people themselves say they no longer want colonialism or new colonialism in any fashion or way, and they sought the support of the Wagner group, of the Russian group, Mali, Guinea. They've all decided to support. Now, this is a long story if we were to go back into history, but the most important thing is that the French colonialism, or if you like, neo-colonialism, is about coming to an end. But can Niger Republic, can the economy sustain it? Will Nigeria not stifle Niger Republic in economy, in transportation, from the ocean to the main? Don't forget that Niger Republic is 28 million made of people, and mostly they have beef, they have goats, and they have uranium as well as phosphate. Now, these are the issues. The largest country in Africa, and they don't have a lot of the military. Let me just stop there. Otherwise, I could go on and on and on and on. Now, let's first of all focus on different parts. Now, it appears that the United States and France, they want to instigate Nigeria to go into war so as to reinstate President Bazoum. But that may not happen because Bazoum has signed a letter of resignation, like Azikiwe signed a letter of resignation in 1966. But let's leave Nigeria. Let me start with Sir Godwin. Should Nigeria just help France and United States to reinstate Bazoum so that they can continue their extraction of uranium and phosphate?
Well, I think that we have to break free from our colonial and neo-colonial shackles. We actually thought that Independence Day, for many African countries, thought that Independence Day was the day they got freedom. What many of them got was just the independence celebration and no independence whatsoever. I always tell a lot of people, you say we are free, we are independent, we can do business deals with whoever you want. Who told you that? If you can't guarantee your security, then you cannot guarantee your trade. And when you are not at the position to guarantee your security, you are directly or indirectly forced to make alliances with people who can guarantee your security so that you can have the peace and the safe passage that is required for trade. That's number one. And number two, when you do not have the technical know-how to exploit your resources, and the people who are buying it from you refuse to transfer technology, they will rather continue to take your resources so that they can always have the opportunity to sell to you that finished product that you really badly need at a more expensive price. Then you also do not call the shot. You are living in a facade, in a mirage, and it has not been helpful for African countries. And the third one is allowing outsiders to divide us in Africa. This one is English colony, this one is French colony, this one is this and that. And we even in Africa have problems doing inter-country trade, inter-country travel, even the travel business trips that will enable that trade, the free passage of goods and human capital that would allow that economic exchange of rational actors. is largely missing. So, of course, these are the problems we have in Africa, and we have seen that it has been exploited by outsiders that has kept us in neo-colonial shackles. And then we have to, of course, not do the bidding of outsiders, not the East, not the West. And of course, getting uranium for 20 whatever currency and selling it for 200, almost 10 times. That is not even cheating, it's stealing, it's robbing. You're not cheating somebody if you give the person less than 10% of what he owns. You know, if it's 60-40 partnership where you take only 40%, you can say, okay, you know, you are not gaining, maybe you are cheated a little bit. But when you're getting just 10%, then you are robbed. I don't know, it's like, how do we say it in Nigeria? You know, stop and follow or whatever you call it. There's nothing else you can describe that what Nigeria is going through. So Nigeria has to say enough is enough and have to allow people that can guarantee their security so that they can make and freely make economic deals, economic arrangement, whoever they please and whoever their citizens please, without the fear that if they do not, they will be attacked by any outside forces.
I'm sure many of us will have a lot of things to say. Let me go to Canada. Sir George, does Nigeria have moral and constitutional right to intervene in the internal affairs of Niger?
You know, like I said before, the saddest part of this whole entire saga that is going on is nobody is asking the question, what about the people? What about the populace? What do they feel like? Why was this particular coup d'etat? Why did it take place? That's one question people will need to ask. And everybody is talking about democracy, 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 democracy. What is democracy with? No, seriously though, think about it. When democracy is just suppressing the people, destroying the lives of the people, we're crying democracy. We want to maintain democracy. Look at Tinubu, because he's the chairman of ECOWAS. What credibility does he have to mandate a sovereign country and want to force them? The man already have credibility issues, personality, genealogy, political affiliation, his declaration in this political position right now, and the votes, everything is going on. He's not even sure if he's going to remain there for too long. He needs to tread very carefully. He did not even say, okay, let us sit down and discuss what actually happened. How did this thing take place? What brought about this particular coup d'etat? Nobody is talking about it. Look at the whole entire 28 million people just jumping up and down that they are happy that this man is gone. And we are from outsiders trying to inflict on them and put on them and force somebody else because of the name of democracy. Who does that? We don't have any moral standing to go after this nation. We have so much problems in our own country. Our people are dying daily because of hunger. All parts of Nigeria, people are even suffering from kwashiorkor right now. All the decisions they made during the political campaign, naira recoloring, nonsense. Brought people down on their knees. Now they are on their stomach, and you want to go to another country to spend our money again to fight another country because you are the chairman of ECOWAS. They need to go and sleep, man. So we need to go and think. Think about before you declare, before you even make any type of nonsense, any type of declaration. Think about the consequences before you start. He's looking like a fool right now. He's looking like a fool. And that's
Massive Mark, what's your take?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm happy George is talking like this because George is the man that always wants to sound politically correct. Now George is saying this, and I'm like, Sir George. Now, because last week George and BD had an argument on being politically correct. Anyway, it's humanity is coming to a point when we are beginning to really speak to ourselves, our consciousness, our well-being, and who we are. And people are now removing gradually. It's a gradual thing happening, Dr. Shegun. the people are removing the stereotypes and that those cliches of being politically correct, doing things as it should be, and all that. People are sliding out of it gradually, and we're seeing it playing out in Africa. In Africa presently, Niger is starting it up for us. The youths have come to an awareness of themselves, and they don't want things to be done like it has always been done. They want things that will help their own life. Yes, we saw the coup happen 3 weeks ago now, and a lot of things are happening following up to that. Yesterday, the former minister of economics was made the prime minister to this coup arrangement, and so many things are happening. A lot of questions are being asked now. To help George also, George, do you know that there are 2 United States bases in Niger and 1 France base in Niger? Now, this whole bases had intelligence reports on what was about to happen, and they allowed it to happen. So, if the security arms of America and France that was in Niger could allow the coup to happen, why are they calling now Nigeria and ECOWAS and all these things to come and fight and disrupt what is happening? That's the question we're asking. Do you understand what I'm saying, people?
Yes. I just want to ask. You see, before you go to
let
war,
me add something very quickly. Let me add something quickly. There's something that the head of Wagner said. Very, very, very interesting. You know, what's her name? Victoria Nuland went to Niger. Yes, Victoria Nuland went to Niger to ask them not to allow Wagner. Then Prigozhin said, I'm so happy with her visit because her visit has done 2 things. Number 1, it is legitimized the government that you have to talk to them at least. You say you don't negotiate with terrorists, but you have to talk to them. Number 2, you have made Wagner look like so important that even ISIS, Eagle, we call them Eagle here, ISIS and other Taliban terrorists look like local schoolboys. They look like local schoolboys because you understand that anywhere Wagner is, they cannot exist. So that is what your visit has done. So wherever they are, you cannot have ISIS existing and all those things. They are building even their terrorists, their own forest, Sambisa. Bring Wagner in and see if Sambisa will still be there. You can't. Why did they allow this? Let me tell you the history of the base. The bases that were moved in French bases that were moved, they were moved there from other countries like Central Africa, and their soldiers were moved from there when Wagner came to clear all those rebels. They were chanting against the French. They were moved from there. So Niger was now like the collection point for many of those special forces, right? They understand that from the experience of other African countries, Central African Republic, that wherever you have a reliable security who is not, whose interests are not so mingled, and rather the interest is straightforward. Wagner does not, like when the French were there, they were in the middle, in Central African Republic, they were in the middle line, they were telling this side, please don't attack, please don't attack. Wagner doesn't do that. Their interests are straight. We are with the government. Drop that gun. Drop
Wagner,
that. Don't,
Wagner is a Russia killing machine. We know. We will come to that.
Okay. Didi, is the Nigerian populace ready for war? For any country to go to war, the people must support the government. Otherwise, their backyard is open. Will you say, living in Nigeria, that the Nigerian populace is ready to go to war?
Nigerian populace are not ready to go to war. In fact, even the Senate have disencouraged Tinubu for going for that war. But let me tell you what is happening in Nigeria. The Abados will always support Tinubu for whatever thing he brings to the table. And why Tinubu is doing this, why our president is doing this, because he feels that if this should be allowed in Niger, then there will be a repetition of it in Nigeria. That's just why he wants to go to this war. Nothing. He feels that if I allow this thing to sustain in Niger, they will try it in Nigeria, and that means me leaving this office. That is just what he's trying to do. Now look at what is happening. Let me tell you what is happening in Africa now. A lot of youths are aware of what is happening, and let me shock you that about 75% of African youth support what is happening in Niger. They are like saying that this democracy, according to what Dr. Ibe said, that they allow us to celebrate independent, but they did not actually give us independence. And what did they do? They picked few Africans and put them in a place of leadership and tell them what to do. They use them now to impoverish their people. And they have to do all their bits so that they can remain in power. That's actually what is happening in Africa. And a lot of Nigerian youth say that this democracy they've sold to us is all lies. That if military will give us and liberate us from poverty, so be it. A lot of African youths are even supporting the military takeover. And they're even suggesting that they should extend it to more African states. And Africa should be careful. If you look at what is happening in Sudan, it is America and Russia. And that's exactly what they are trying to do in Niger. If they don't allow it, because France has sworn that they will not allow Niger to go. And American is pushing Nigerian government, and they know why they made our president Tinubu the chairman of ECOWAS. They know why. It was a deliberate act. So, and he's pushing it to cover his own.
Who made him? Who made him?
No.
The ECOWAS.
Who made him? The chairman of ECOWAS.
Understand this.
The position of Nigeria.
Yes, because the previous president was a chairman. So whoever comes in also continues in that office until he's taken out. Not that they intentionally made Tinubu the chairman of ECOWAS.
So what I'm telling every African that they should be aware, supporting to remove the military from Niger could mean, because Nigerian people, they like the military, they want it. So like Sir George said, they didn't ask people. Who is asking you? Africans don't care about the masses. It's about what the few leaders want. So they don't care about what the masses in Niger want. What they want is to install their power in Niger so that they can be doing what they are doing.
Yes. Okay. Bidi, thank you. I'm just mindful of the time, and let's raise the level of this discussion. From where do African governments derive their legitimacy? Where does sovereignty lies in Africa? Is it with the people's vote or with some elements from the superpowers? Because at the end of the day, that is where Niger will stand. Because if Niger should go into war, then another Ukraine war has started. Only Niger and perhaps the states around Niger will be having the intensification. But I'm going to square on Sir George. You told us many months ago that Jonathan did not lose that election, but it was handed over to Buhari. Now, that means that sovereignty and legitimacy came from outside the country. In fact, on the feet of the Americans. Now, tell us more. What is going on in this kind of bracket?
There's a revolution going on. In the past, people were not so aware of what was going on. Only what the newscasters can bring out there will be what will be publicized. So right now, it is different. Through your phone, you can get the conservative news, you can get the liberal news, you can get the middle power news, whatever kind of news. So when you put it out, everybody knows. In the past, they used to manipulate the election. They will make phone calls to make sure that the right person gets in there. When there is trouble, they want what you call pseudo peace. Therefore, let it go, because if you don't, blood will flow like baboons. The blood of baboons will flow. All those type of threats that was going on. That was what actually happened. Jonathan did not lose the election. It was handed over to Buhari because of the threat that was coming from the north. I was in Nigeria during that time. On the day of the election, I was in Aso Rock. So I know exactly what happened. But when it comes now down to Niger Republic, what is happening in Africa today is the people are tired of this corrupt government siphoning and destroying the economy of the nation for, just their own personal use. It's just the people that are suffering, and that's what's going on. And when the military is there, if the Justice Department is corrupted, the parliamentary, all the people that are governing are all in the same basket of corruption. Who is checking against who? Look at Nigeria. Look at the state of our affairs. We're not even sure whether the Justice Department will bring out the correct, affirmation of who actually won the election. You see white, you call it black. You see black, you call it white. People are tired of it. People are tired of it. And that's why you're seeing, Guinea, all these countries are rising up. The military is saying, okay, if nobody there's no checks and balances within the government, the three arms of the government, we will come in and force you down and take over for the benefit of the people. That's what democracy has done. We bring democracy, but you did not give us the things that are supposed to qualify you for democracy, sustain democracy. Therefore, they're doing whatever they want. And most of these world countries, superpowers, are benefiting because all the looted money is going into their own economy and it's helping them out. So,
yes. Thank you, Sir George. Dr. Ibe.
Africans are the fools, but it's over.
Dr.
I will just directly answer your question. You asked.
Sorry, hear the question.
I heard the question. I'll answer it.
Where would we have been without Russia? I mean, Russia has saved us in Africa so many times. The South African issue, the Nigerian issue. So Russia has been there to balance America. Otherwise, we all will be just the pawns of Americans and the West. I mean, Russia has come to our aid to put some sanity in balancing the West. What else do we want to say about how Russia has come to our aid?
Yeah, it's a good summary, but I will not be biased. I will try as much as possible not to be biased. I will give a very objective statement on this. The key issue is what is sovereignty and the respect for sovereignty. Sovereignty means that supreme power, supreme authority rests on the sovereign. There's a sovereign. In monarchy, that sovereign is the king. In democracy, that sovereign is supposed to be the people. Supreme authority. So how can you say you have sovereignty if the supreme authority, supreme power or authority does not rest on the sovereign? So what is the sovereignty? There's absolutely no sovereignty in Nigeria. The people do not have the final say. And then most of the decisions are made by outside forces. And of course, like I said before, if you cannot guarantee security, you cannot guarantee other things. Why Russia has helped Africa is because Russia, first of all, are the underdogs in some areas in terms of size of economy. Number two, their goals are different. They are not interested in meddling in regime change, in internal policies of other countries, much similar like China. They are economic agents. They do what you do field on the contract. They take their money, they offer you, or you make that economic exchange or diplomatic exchange, and it ends there. The business is done. You move to the next one. They don't go there trying to seek regime change and all of that. In the case, for example, where they are invited by governor, as we saw, to instill something, then yes, they will go in. In the case of Niger, of course, it's a regime change. In this particular case, it's a regime change. But that's because it's supported by the people. And these people were actually invited.
Honestly, on Friday, we will spend a lot of time on this because our Friday discussion is always on international issues. We are just about to scratch it. And I'm mindful of the time. BD, could you please help us thank Super Falcons in closing? We must, on behalf of Schengen Media, please help us thank Super Falcons.
On behalf of Schengen Media, we want to appreciate our Super Falcon for representing us very well, for being the queen that you are, for doing what you know how to do. Just know that we love you, we'll always be there for you, and we encourage you. This is just the beginning. You will do greater things to come. We love you. Thank you, our Super Falcon. Thank you, our queens. We appreciate you.
Yeah, that's how far we can go today. We thank you all, Super Falcons, the Tigress, and all the rest, all my colleagues across the globe. I thank you all. Until Friday when we square on Niger Matters. My name is Shegun Johnson. God bless you all.